For more awesome content, head to ystech.org, link in the description. Hey guys, it is Wise from ystech.org here, and today we got an awesome build for you guys. So I'm actually pretty happy to put this out here because it's at a decent price of $1,600 New Zealand. A lot of these prices are on special and you can swap and change them out. So let's go through them one by one. Now, we're going to start off with the CPU, and we've gone with the i5 11400F. So the 11400F is around $269 from Computer Lounge, and it's a 6-core processor, very powerful. It's something I recommend at the moment just because AMD's processors are very expensive, such as the AMD Ryzen 5 3600, which is nearly $330. That is very expensive. This is a lot cheaper and it provides very similar performance in games, if not better. Now, if you can't afford to get that, or if you'd like to save a little bit, you can get the 10400, which is around $229, also a 6-core processor, not as powerful as the 11400F, which is the refreshed version of it. The older brother, the 10400F, is a little bit cheaper, so if you want to save about $50 or so, then you'd be perfectly fine to do so. This motherboard right here is the Asus Prime V560M-K Micro ATX motherboard. It's for the Intel CPUs. It comes in at about $163 from PC Force and $164.99 from PB Tech. This is a very nice board, a budget board. Comes with 2 RAM slots right here, which is all goods, an M.2 slot, 2 of them right here, and a PCIe 4.0 16X slot for your graphics card. More than enough capability, and it's PCIe 4.0, which is great. It also comes with 6 SATA slots, which is awesome to see on this motherboard. It's a great pick considering that in my experience, Asus Prime boards are pretty decent and they do hold up pretty nicely in the long run. And this one also seems to have some VRM cooling here, which is great to see with that little aluminium block. Awesome motherboard, great price, not much to complain there. So now we have some options for RAM. So my first option here is the Corsair Vengeance LPX 16 gigs DDR4 3200 CL16, comes at $117 from First Wave or $129 from Computer Lounge. Now the second option is the G.Skill Ripjaws 16 gig kit of DDR4 3600 CL18 RAM for about $159 from PB Tech. Now either one will do perfectly fine. The cheaper one will probably be pretty decent considering it's CL16. The only reason I included this one is because the Ripjaws V tends to go on a really good special for under $120 sometimes. So if you guys could pick that up, that's perfectly fine as well. Do keep in mind that the DDR4 3200 CL16 probably will be a little bit quicker and should perform a little bit better. Not that you'd notice it much, but great options to pick from Corsair or just G.Skill. So next we're heading over to storage. Pretty simple one for this. We've gone with the Samsung 980 500 gig M.2 NVMe drive, and that comes in at about $114 from Computer Line, which is a perfectly acceptable price. Anything under $118 should be fine for this, and if you want to go for the 970 EVO, $127 for 500 gigs is perfectly fine. It's a wee bit better than the 980, but that's all goods. And if you want to go for a SATA option, the 870 EVO from Samsung is also great. So if that's not enough to satisfy your needs in terms of drive capacity and storage, then you can go for a hard drive as well. Anything will be fine generally. Western Digital Caviar Blue is perfectly good. $67 from Computer Lounge, $68 from PB Tech, 1 terabyte at 7200 RPM. Now the other options what you can do for hard drives as well is that you can go secondhand. And the only reason I would go secondhand, and my rule that I follow with this is if I know I'm only going to put games on it and nothing important, nothing personal, nothing irreplaceable, then fine. I can go secondhand and I can use that secondhand drive for a games file, like a games hard drive only. So that would be perfectly fine and normal to do that. So Generally, you can get a 1TB drive secondhand in New Zealand for under about $40 New Zealand, so that's pretty good value for money. You can get even 2TB for under 50. So don't overpay. Sorry, 1TB should actually be about 25 to 30, and 2TB will be about 45 to $50. Do also make sure you ask for some benchmarkings, such as the ones from Crystal Diskmark Info. Now you can see here it's able to see and check the drives for the smart data, and you can see all the thresholds here. Make sure you ask this. If they probably don't know, maybe negotiate down on the price, but a lot of people do know about the software, so it's great to ask them about what you can see here. It will give you an indication if the health status is good. You can see that's my 4TB drive, 2TB games drive that I got secondhand, and my 1TB drive that I used to use, and my normal 500 gig one for my SSD for the operating system. So 92% good, and obviously it's going to give a little bit more data on an SSD compared to these hard drives. So make sure you check this and check up the thresholds online. They'll give you a good indicator and guide to whether the hard drives are in good condition or not. So let's head over to one of the most important things here is the graphics card. So I've gone with the 6600. So the RX 6600 is a pretty decent card at the prices they're ranging at right now. So this MSI Radeon one you can get for about $749 from Computer Lounge or $745 from First Wave. Great options right there. But if you want to go even cheaper, there is another option. Currently, PB Tech is having a special on the ASRock Radeon RX 6600 8GB for $698. That's a great price, as it's pretty close to what they were selling them at brand new when they first released, and it's a decent card. I mean, there's nothing too much to complain about it. It's newer, it's got 8 gigs, it can run 1080p fine. It's got pretty decent specs for the price it's been offering at, mind you, in a market that is pretty expensive at the moment. But I do have to say it's a decent card. Even from, just going to reference Hardware Unboxed here, their AMD RX 6600 review. On average, it averaged pretty high, and it's pretty close to something like an RX 5700. Mind you, this is their own benchmark, so it will vary. But you can see the older brother, the 6600 XT, does a lot better, but you're going to be paying for that. So if you can grab a 6600 XT for under, like, I'd say $920 at the moment, then it'd be perfectly fine to go with that. They're great cards. I enjoy the performance it's given. The RTX 3060, if you guys can get that at a decent price, that'd also be a great option. But the RX 6600 is basically kind of like a discounted 3060 in some instances, not all, but what I'm trying to get at here is that you get good performance at 1080p, which I know a lot of you guys are gaming at in New Zealand, especially if you want to get into playing games. And yeah, I think it's going to do you fine for now. And you're on PCIe 4.0 on this motherboard, so you won't have any bandwidth limitations even in the future, although at the moment it really hasn't shown any bandwidth limitations on 8X on PCIe 3.0 so far, so that's yet to be seen. Summary for the graphics card: 6600, great price, looks good. Avoid the RTX 2060s that just got re-released. Not so great value for money, as they are pretty much the same price as the 6600s. Also, some more advice: make sure you do not get the 6500 XT. I know it's appealing because of its price, but its performance is absolutely terrible. I would absolutely stay away from that card. Do not buy it. Do not touch it. It's very expensive. If it goes for below $250, I'd say it might be okay. But for now, stay away from it. It's terrible. Don't touch it. The 6600 is far better if you save up for it. So let's head over to the case now. We've gone with the MSI Mag Forge 100R. So $87 from Ascent or $109 from Computer Lounge. Now you can go with a better case if you want to. This one's alright. It's pretty decent. I saw it in the shop once. I'm not sure for its cooling performance, but it looks good. It comes with 2 fans as far as I know, and yeah, it has the mesh front panel as well. Even something like the Corsair 5000D is also great, and now the airflow front panel one and the Fantex P400A or P300A are great cases as well. You can catch a P300A for sometimes under $130, which would be perfectly good to get as well. So let's head over to the power supply now. So one option is the Corsair RMX 550 watt for $139 from First Wave. I know it's a little bit difficult to get the RMX line, although they are one of the best power supplies in the market right now. It's hard to get it from like bigger retailers, so do keep an eye out for them when they do come back in stock. The 550 watt for under $140 would be perfectly fine, or even the Be Quiet Pure Power 11 FM. I actually put this in my friend's cousin's PC, and he seems to be doing pretty nicely on it. It's $159 from PB Tech right now, and yeah, a great power supply, and it seems pretty reliable from what I can tell. I can probably vouch for it. It seems pretty decent. It was easy to build with, install, plug the cables in was really clean. It has a nice layout. Cables are pretty long. Yeah, it was a great time working with this power supply. So overall, the build comes to, again, $1,598. It will fluctuate between about $50, I'd say, so maybe $1,550 to $1,650 depending on what parts you get. But I think this is a decent build for what it's offering. At 1080p gaming, in AAA titles, you'll be perfectly fine. In esports, you'll be more than happy building with these parts. Of course, I didn't include the hard drive in there, but 500 gigs should be plenty enough to play a few games. If you need to, you can add that on later. And as well, I believe that, in this type of market, this price is actually pretty decent from the builds I've been putting out previously at about $1,800. Is not so expensive anymore. Now, one of the reasons I do have to explain why it is a little bit cheaper is just because if you look back on some of my $1,800 builds from the last few months from last year, you do actually find some better components in them. And what that basically means is at the similar price level, like, I can't get such great components anymore, so like such higher tier components or even better performing stuff like a 6600 XT, like I can't even put that in this build. So that's the reason it is a little bit cheaper. Even if you were to add another extra $200 on it, you could just slip in a 6600 XT if you wanted to, and that'd be far more performance than before. But I do realize that everyone's pretty tight on money at the moment, and I thought it would be nice just to put something out where people can actually afford it. So that about sums up the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you check out ystech.org for the latest posts, reviews, and much more. I'll see you guys there at ystech.org. But other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.